All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, Wahara Kakorash, double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to your language, your to be. This is your brother Hawaii. Got a quick lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who better shame and looking like heathens, who spirit will witness that they're a child of Heavenly Father. In the name of the Heavenly Father, it's Yahweh, who the world inly calls Jehovah, or God, or Yahweh. In the name of the Heavenly Son, it's Yahweh Shah, who the world inly calls Jesus Christ, who is the Christos or Yeshua. So I got a quick lesson and stuff, and the other preachers come out. You already know it's the Holy Spirit, whether you believe it or not. And pretty much I want to go into the video that Apostle Bar had showed, you know what I'm saying, where you had this Edomite and stuff talking about how it was a bunch of crows in the uh how there was a bunch of crows, you know what I'm saying, that was in the trees and whatnot and stuff, right? I got 144. Follow all you like y'all watching me shower both ways, right? So uh So pretty much what happened was is that you had you had the crows and whatnot, and it was so many, and it was like what was going on when it come down to the birds. Now, uh, uh, in most movies and stuff, when the great doom's finna come, because animals are spiritual, so that's how when it come down to paranormal activity and stuff, a dog can be barking and nothing would be there to the human eye, you know what I'm saying, but they can sense the spirits. You know what I'm saying, right? Sensory of the spirits and whatnot and stuff. And that's why you also knew that when it came down to the 5G towers and stuff, that something was wrong with them because the birds and stuff were not only attacking it, but then dying, dying from them too. You know what I'm saying? They recognized that it was evil because everything has a vibration, you know what I'm saying, in a way, a wavelength, you see, right? So so they can tell and stuff what is bad and what's not. You know what I'm saying, right? So, a lot of these dogs and stuff a lot of these animals and stuff also been destroyed and stuff. But when it come down to something major like that, they can sense it. And then when it came down to those birds, all those different crows, you know what I'm saying? Remember, a crow is not an unlucky bird. It's just a bird with that color. Remember, Elijah got fed by crows, you see, right? But the thing is this, when it come down to when it comes down to the crow, with it being black, black is usually a sign of death. You know what I'm saying? You see, you know, and if it's many and stuff, if it's many and stuff to that comparison and stuff, then guess what? People, it'll show. Because I think it was like what, Colorado, or it was either Colorado, or it was either some state and whatnot and stuff more in the western part and stuff of America and stuff, and it was a bunch of black vultures. All the vultures was all black. We already know that vultures don't go. They don't tend to attack live meat. They're scavengers. That's why it's also they're also a bird that you shouldn't eat, but they're scavengers, and with them being scavengers. They're scavengers, and within that scavengery, notice like I'm talking about, with them being scavengers, no, they're scavengers, so we can't eat those animals. Seagulls, you can't eat them. Can't eat every bird that's out there. You see, only certain types of birds, but that's not the point. Just bringing that out there. When it come down to vultures, they were all black. And vultures rain on dead meat. So where's these vultures coming from? Because it was symbolism. It was symbolic. It was symbolic and stuff that that mass death was finna come. You see, and I want to bring out this. This is Sirach, like it's Sirach chapter 39, or Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 39, verse 28 or 27. It says, it says, all things are for good to the godly. It says, so to the sinners, they are turned into evil, right? It says, verse 28, it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. It says, in the time of destruction, they will pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. You know what I'm saying? The weather, everybody seen Doomsday. You know what I'm saying? 2012 was one of the movies. You see, damn, 2012 was one of those movies. Right. 2012 was one of those movies when it came down to the weather. Geostorm was one of the movies. Now that goes into HARP, how they try to control the weather or manipulate the weather because they want to be God so bad, right? Because they want to be God so bad and stuff. But really, all those other ones and stuff was just naturally happening, and they didn't know why it was happening or why things was happening this way or that way when it came down to the weather, right? So it's gonna show it. It's gonna say verse 29. Verse 29, it says, fire and hail and famine, death, all these were created for vengeance. It says, teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, serpents, and a sword punishing the wicked to destruction. And I remember in a previous place uh, 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 that I dwelt, you know what I'm saying, pretty much one day, duty calls and stuff to do the work of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, right? And on my way, waiting for the bus, I see a big bird. Well, really, what it is that I see somebody and stuff looking outside a car and pointing and looking up and whatnot. So I'm just wondering to myself, it's like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? You know what I'm saying? And then you could tell, even though I was kind of far away, but you could tell that it wasn't like no pigeon or it wasn't no seagull and whatnot and stuff. It was brown colored in the way that it stood. It was brown colored in the way that it stood. It showed that it was an eagle, because the eagles are larger than falcons and what's the other one? Eagle is falcon and hawks. You see, why do you about you, Yosha? You got the eagles are larger than anything else and stuff. You see, right? And it was actually a golden eagle, a bald golden eagle. I guess that's what they call it. You know what I'm saying, right? And the thing is that he was just sitting there. Now I also seen hawks. You know what I'm saying? Me and a family member uh, seen a hawk, and I actually seen a hawk on the bus, but it was in one of the previous winter. You know what I'm saying? They got a squirrel and stuff, and it was just eating it like that, you know. And when it come down to hawks, if you look in the sky, they don't really flap their wings like that and stuff. They just glide. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they hunt. They hunt from a distance because they got keen eyes. You know what I'm saying? They can see stuff that's really, really small from a long distance. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then I also watched this other video where there was it was like a bunch of bald eagles, like a mass number of them, and within this mass number, okay, look at that. Within that mass number, there was uh within that mass number and stuff, they was like in a trash part. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of trash or landfill was and stuff, and they was looking for food. You know what I'm saying? And when it come down to hawks, I mean not hawks, but when it come down to eagles, with them being large, you know what I'm saying? An eagle would sit up here and you got Jakes, you got Jakes and stuff. When I say Jakes, I'm talking about Negroes, Latinos, and natives and Israelites with outward appearances that of a heathen. You have eagles. If you ain't paying attention, they'll pull your little kid up off the ground. Your kid could be like say 4, 5, maybe even 7. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even 7. They'll pull that child up off the ground and stuff to go eat. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way and stuff. If you got small pets, do the same thing. because they're predators. You know what I'm saying? You see, they're predators, right? So this is and guess what? They're going to be hungry, and as it says in Second Esdras, the 5th chapter, I believe the 8th verse, it says that the animals shall change their places, and why is that and stuff? In search for food. You see, right? Right. So this is uh verse 30 again. It says, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions. You know what happened in Egypt? It was a great flood, right? Maybe 2 years back, there was a great flood, and within that great flood, uh, within that great flood, uh, 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 there was a lot of scorpions and stuff, and it was like a lot of people who was going to the hospital and stuff because they was getting stung. You know what I'm saying? You see, right, right. It's it says serpents. It says right. Let a grand flood, flash flood happen and stuff, or a hurricane and stuff, and pull out one of them alligators and stuff, or snakes, pull them up and stuff, uh, 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 from their habitats and whatnot and stuff, and sling them somewhere else. And you got the movie Anacondas, you know what I'm saying? But down there in Australia, crazy, better, right? In Australia, Madagascar, Madagascar. When it comes down to those areas and stuff where stuff is still sort of tropical and not fading away in vegetation and stuff as it is near in the cities, you know what I'm saying, right? The thing is that there's a video where you got these people they speaking in another language. So this must be moved to move. They speaking in another language and whatnot and stuff, right? Yeah. They speaking in another language, and within that language, no, and they on a boat, and they see this massive snake. It wasn't a boa constrictor. It wasn't no. And it was an anaconda and stuff, and this thing was huge. This thing was large, hanging off a tree, and you could just see the massive muscle. Now, just imagine a flash flood that it can't swim through, and it swims within where in populated areas where a lot of people are. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be some scary shit. You know, down there uh, uh, down there in Madagascar and stuff around those areas. Um, Around those areas, what do you have? You have, I mean, not Madagascar, but those tropical areas and stuff, right? Them snakes can get swept up by a flood or get hurled around by some type of tornado or twister. You know what I'm saying? You see, right? It says, in the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. And nowadays, the modern day sword, you know what I'm saying, will be a gun. You see, so when it comes down to an actual sword and stuff, you got the handle, you know what I'm saying? Just a gigantic knife and whatnot and stuff. What does it do? It pales and it pales people. It's the same way with bullets, you see? Right? So it says, verse 31, it says, they shall rejoice in his commandment and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. It says, and where their time is come, they shall not transgress his word, meaning that it's going to happen. You see? It's going to happen. Right? So when it comes down to it and stuff, it's gonna be a lot of animals out here and stuff, and it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not in league with the beasts of the field, trust me, you're gonna have a hard time up out here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know. And then another thing is this too. When it come down to animals, no, when it come down to dogs are just descendants of wolves. And when it come down to them no longer being able to be tamed by their owners or with their owners, you know what I'm saying, right? Or they start pushing for dominance and whatnot and stuff, right? Once they become wild and they go back out in the streets and stuff, they move about as packs. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be some individuals who's going to be suffering the same thing as male men and male women and stuff who got to run haul ass because you got a bunch of loose dogs and stuff who's able to either jump over the gate or they built some type of way and whatnot where they can escape somehow. And they over here chasing you down. I seen memes where dogs will bite the wood off a wooden gate and stuff just to go after whatever it is that they trying to go after. That shit gonna be scary. That shit gonna be scary, you know. Uh, and it's gonna be scary out here and whatnot and stuff, and it's gonna be there for their judgment. People are gonna be eaten. You know what I'm saying? Chihuahuas are the ugliest dogs. This is just my perspective. This is just my opinion. They ugly as hell and stuff, but they pretty much land piranhas if they in a great number, and they trying to chow down because dogs will eat raw meat. You know what I'm saying? They biting into your flesh and whatnot because they hungry. Remember the earnesty of cannibalism. The earnesty of cannibalism. It ain't just uh, um, the earnesty of cannibalism. That's not just within a human. That's also within animals too, where they'll eat something and stuff that they're not used to eating, just so they can fill their bellies and stuff because they're starving, and get vicious and animalistic. You know what I'm saying? Or well, they animals already, but much more and stuff on a highly different level. You see, so it's gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine and stuff. A moose that's really, really hungry and stuff, and it can't find no grass, so it's ready to try to chew you in just to fill itself up and stuff. And I seen a moose chase down a brown grizzly bear, man. You know what I'm saying? Where the bear was running away from the moose, and you would think that would be vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Or for some reason the animals just got a problem with you, like that little white kid. He over here going down the hill on his scooter, and he over there ducking and shit. He over there ducking and everything and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because this pigeon just had a bone to pick with him. That's coming. That is coming to the wicked of our people. That is coming. You know. Remember, you got that old show, A Thousand Ways to Die. You sliding in the well, you at the beach, you think everything's all good. You know what I'm saying? When something just pull up and grab you and pull you back in the water, that's gonna be scary. You seen this is the movies is called what, Crocodile or something like that, or Gator, you know, and it's a gigantic flood and stuff, and that water's coming to your waist. And what do they? It's an old movie, and what do? They going into a place and stuff to look for supplies, and what happened and stuff, they just get snatched into the water. Let them alligators and the big ass alligators, let them launch onto your leg and whatnot and stuff, and they do that death roll. You is done. You is done. You know what I'm saying? And especially different infections and diseases that a lot of these animals have and whatnot. They bite into your flesh, you're done. Especially if you can't heal yourself or go to the doctor or go to the clinic, you know what I'm saying, to be able to heal yourself. That'd be crazy. All right? You know. Imagine you got your dogs, you can't feed them, and they looking to over dominate you and stuff. And now they about to bite the hand that they feed you and stuff, and you be feeding them raw meat all this time. It ain't be no different when it come down to you. It ain't gonna be no different. You see, you know. But that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? I can go to other scriptures and stuff, but this is really just something that I want to uh, 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 be about. I mean, this just description and stuff. Thinking about that. I hope this video was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Wahara Kakodash, double honors to Apostles who great millstone, and salutations to your elect, which you ought to be. Shalom, with Baba Paul, Kwam Yasharala.